Because if your 9 to 5 is sucking the life out of you, the power just went out, but we're gonna rock with it. I also feel like that was like symbolic. Hey guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're watching this video. I wanted to make another video as a follow-up to my video about 3 questions to ask yourself if you're ready to quit. I will probably be making a lot of videos related to this, as this is something that I just experienced and am still really going through or growing through. Grow through it. I don't know if it reads the right way. Whatever. So as I was rewatching that video, a book I read came to mind that I read years ago by Jon Acuff called Quitter. And this book, well, first of all, at the time I read this book, I was at a completely different employer and I was working my butt off as an HR assistant. And it was one of those jobs where it was just like so routine, so like the same thing over and over and over, a New York job, very high stress. I honestly, truthfully, it could have been more stressful. For example, if I was in like finance or whatever, but I was still like in payroll, so it was still very high stress. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It was one of those jobs where like so many things could have been improved, but I didn't really have any room to improve the processes. So it was just very exhaustive and it was really starting to get to me and it was really stressful and I really wanted to quit. So I found this book called Quitter. And again, guys, you guys know I'm a professional actor. So for me, I was constantly in that space of like, oh my God, if I could just leave this job, if I could just not have a 9 to 5 and focus on improving my acting, if I could just like work on my monologues, if I could just work on going to scene classes and whatever, which I wasn't doing much of anyway, but that's neither here nor there. You know, in my head, I was just convinced that this job was just taking up so much of my time, right? And I was like, if I didn't have this, I could focus on other things, which is partially true. So I read the book, and the book was basically explaining how you should not leave your job until your side hustle can equate to the amount of money that you are making from your current job. And there's obviously some truth to that. Now, so as I said in my previous video, financial gurus will tell you that you need to have 3 to 6 months in savings or whatever, just something in the bank before you make a drastic decision like that. And now you have another author that I'm sharing with you that basically said, okay, forget 3 to 6 months savings, which you should still have. His strategy was make sure that you're getting enough income from your side hustle before you quit. Now, my opinion on this is controversial and I am not a financial expert. I'm just sharing my experience, so take it or leave it. I don't wholeheartedly agree with that because in my most recent experience in which I left my corporate job in New York, my side hustle or my acting or any other income that I had was not earning me what I was earning at my previous job. Now that's okay because the way I intentionally lived my life is I lived below my means so that I could sustain my lifestyle no matter what I was making. You know, I added some expenses over time, but for the most part, I still really lived as if I was making much less than what I was before I left my job. And I do that because, you know, if you continually, I'll probably have to make this another video, but just as a side note, if you continuously raise your expenses along with your raises, like every time you get a raise, you get a new expense, a raise, a new expense, a raise, a new expense. And let me put that in real examples for you. If you get a $5,000 raise and then now you get a new car, you still are pretty much making about the same amount of money. You have a car now, but you're still not really earning extra. Then if you get another raise and you decide, okay, I want to move to a nicer apartment, you're still not making more, you just have a new expense and you still have the same disposable income. So what I mean is when you get those raises, when you get more income, sure, level up your life in the ways that you can, but really try to stay living below your means so that you can put a lot of money away. And by me doing that, that's how I was able to save so much so that I could make that transition into being independent. Now, getting back to my story. So John Acuff talks about making sure that your side hustles and your business earn enough. I have a slight issue with that because with my previous job, it was so high stress that I didn't feel that I was emotionally or mentally in a space to devote the time that I needed to my side hustle and my businesses. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because really what John Acuff is talking about is you have your 9 to 5 and your 5 to 9, right? You'll hear a lot of people in business talk about that. And you have your day job, and when you're not working on your day job, you're working on your side businesses, which is absolutely true. You should be doing that 100%. But one thing that I think a lot of these advisors don't mention is the emotional and mental well-being that needs to be accounted for in order for you to pour into your 5 to 9. Because if your 9 to 5 is sucking the life out of you, the power just went out, but we're gonna rock with it. I also feel like that was like symbolic. If your job is like sucking the life out of you, you're not gonna be in a space where you can give positive energy and mental awareness to your business, whatever it is. Okay, let's make this a real example, right? Let's say you work at a restaurant and you're on your feet all day, you work the morning shift, but you kind of have your own little business where you make little cupcakes for people, you make birthday cakes or whatever, and people love your work and what you do. Now, if you're so damn tired from your restaurant job and it was a crazy breakfast lunch and you're tired and on your feet all day, exhausted, and your manager is annoying, the line chefs were calling out or whatever, you just really feel like you need to sit down and just relax and before you can even think about making your cupcakes for your clients or whatever. And who knows how long that recuperation period is. For some people that could be, okay, I just need an hour to get myself together. Some people really need more time to really not only physically reset, but also mentally reset. So my point in saying this is, sometimes your job can be so in the way that it actually really prevents you from being able to get your business to a place where it can match what you're earning from your day job, because you just don't have enough emotional reserve. You just don't have enough physical reserve. That's a big reason why I decided to leave my job. I could have certainly kept doing my job, kept submitting auditions, taking time off here and there whenever I booked. But I was starting to notice a big problem. I would get an audition, and a lot of times auditions come through last minute. Especially commercial auditions. They're like within 24 hours, you need to have something turned around. But first of all, there's a lot of setup, okay? You have to do your makeup, you have to make sure your lighting is correct, you have to have your setup or backdrop, you have to edit, you have to do a couple takes, you have to memorize. That is a lot of work to do, okay, in just a short amount of period. Now, especially because I would have to put makeup on. Let's say I got the audition like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. 9 times out of 10, I don't really like to put on makeup in the evening. I just don't like to do it. I'd rather have a full face on. I don't want to put on a fresh face at 6 p.m. unless I'm going somewhere, obviously. So what I would do is I would, make sure my content is memorized, my lines are memorized, maybe sometimes set up my lights and everything the night before. But really what's happening is by the time I shower, set up my camera, set up my lights, try to record that audition, now trying to edit it, right? All before my actual day job starts, before I have a team meeting, before I have a one-on-one with my assistant, or, now all of a sudden I'm rushing to do this project because I have to cater to my responsibility, which is the day job. So a lot of times I felt like I wasn't able to give 100% of myself in an audition because I'm so focused on, let me hurry up because I don't want anyone to think I'm not working. I don't want anyone to think I'm running late or whatever. It was just a lot of internal pressure. Now, my scenario is, so unique. Obviously, most people are not, trying to grow their acting business. Sorry, I'm so itchy, y'all. I'm in Mexico and I'm itchy with those mosquitoes. Anyway, I'm sorry. You get my point though. Now, I'm not telling you, this is me not telling you to quit your job because you're stressed out all the time. My first advice would be to find healthy ways to balance the stress. Find healthy ways that you can de-stress quickly. You know, if you know that you stop working at 6 p.m., make sure you have a hard cutoff time of boundaries, right? Especially in this work from home life, a lot of people don't have clear cutoff time boundaries. They'll keep working in front of their laptop till 7, 8 p.m. Next thing you know, it's dinner time and you don't even have enough energy to cook. Been there, okay? So have clear boundaries for yourself. Try to set up some barriers and boundaries and some de-stressing time so that you can focus on your side business. Try that first before you just automatically give up and be like, my job is causing me too much stress. Whitney said to quit, so I'm gonna quit. No, that was a personal decision. I'm just sharing my experience, and it can be helpful for you, but first try to find the balance. For me personally, it was very, very hard to find the balance because my day job was so demanding. A lot was expected of me. I no longer had a job where I could just open a laptop, write a few reports, close it, go home. I had a lot of meetings that I had to be a part of. I had a lot of higher ups, people in leadership that I had to respond to, that I needed to be accountable for. I just had too much on my plate, really. So I was at a point in my career where I really needed to decide what career path I was gonna take. Because I was really on the path where if I kept going, in a few years I would have been at an executive level, which is great for me to be so young. But really, it wasn't speaking to who I am as a human being. It wasn't fulfilling a lot of my personal desires and ambitions anymore. It wasn't fulfilling me. So I really had to make that decision for myself. And that's why I say, for me specifically, it was a very emotional decision and step to take, because that is a very, I basically decided to just turn my life in a completely different direction of what I've worked up to do anyway. Now, I also want to provide a different example. Going back to John Acuff's book, he was specifically, I don't think he was a salesman. He was working at Auto Trader. I don't really remember what he was doing. I don't know if he was doing sales or something, but he was, working on his business, I think as like a speaker. And the more and more successful he got, he would have to take time off from work. He would have conferences that he would have to fly to and go to. He would be up late working on his speeches and his work and whatever. He was investing a lot, right? The other thing is, you might not have an employer that supports that. A lot of people can't take time off to go, oh, hey, by the way, I have a speaking engagement in California. I'll be back. Sure, you can use your vacation time. You do whatever you want with your vacation time. But still, there's a lot of nuances with what you want to do depending on, what you want to do. I was fortunate enough, and this was one of my requirements when I found my previous job, I needed an employer that was going to allow me to take time off for my auditions and when I booked gigs. That was already an understanding that was established. But if you don't have that relationship with your employer, it's going to be very difficult for you to try to get your side hustle to a place where you can match it to your day job so that you can leave. So sometimes you do need to take the risk. You do need to save up so that you can hustle up to get your side hustle to where it needs to be. Sometimes it's just really difficult to try to do that when the majority of your time and energy is being dedicated to someone else's business. That's the whole point of me saying this. It really depends on what industry you're in. It really depends on what your business is. It depends on how you manage your time, and it depends on your personal life. Okay, if you have kids, the likelihood of you leaving your job to go do that side hustle is significantly different, okay? And I am pretty sure if I did have children, I would not have left my corporate job. I was just in a place where I could, and I decided to take the risk before I decided to start a family. And I'm not even there yet, but you get what I'm saying. I hope this video makes sense. It's already running long, so I'm gonna cut it before I get cut off. If you'd like to talk about your circumstances a little bit more with me, book a reading with me. All of my information is below. Connect with me on Instagram, subscribe, follow, share this video, okay? Leave something in the comments below. Let me know what you're going through. I'd love to help you. And good luck as you hustle up and live into your abundant, authentic life. Bye, y'all.